welcome back to the channel. So assignment is performed with the operator equals, and you can see it right here. What it means is take the value of the right hand side and copy it into the left hand side. The right hand side is any constant, variable, or expression that produces a value. In this case it's a constant and it has a value 4. But the left hand side has to be a distinct name variable, and in this case it's a. Now assignment of primitives is quite straightforward. Since the primitive holds the actual value and not a reference to an object, when you assign primitives, you copy the contents from one place to another. So here I'll just make one more integer b and I'll give it a value of 2. Now when I do a is equal to b, the contents of b are copied into a. So if you go and modify a, b is unaffected by the modification. First I'll just do system out println and print out a and b. Now when I run the program, a will be 2 because we just copied the value of b, which is 2, into a, and b is still 2. Now when I change a and I give it a value of, let's say, 7, b won't be affected, only a will change. Here, let me run the program. You can see a is 7 and b is 2. Now when you assign objects, things completely change, and I'll show you right now. You can see here we have a simple class called tank, and it has one field called level. And in this public static void main method, I just created two objects of this tank class called T1 and T2. And then I assigned the level for each of the objects to different values. So for T1 the level is 9, and for T2 the level is 47. Now this system out println does the same thing. I have it 3 times, and all it does is print out the level of the object. So T1.level and T2.level. Here, I'll just run the program. This first system out println will just be the values 9 and 47 that we just assigned right here. So now we assign the T2 reference to T1. What happens here is now T1 and T2 are pointing at the same object. So T1, each object has its own memory location. So here T1 was pointing at this memory location and T2 is pointing at this memory location. So when we do T1 is equal to T2, we're saying T1, don't point at this memory location anymore, point at this memory location. So you can see T1 now is pointing at this highlighted object, and T2 is still pointing at it as it was previously. So now this old object that T1 was pointing to, we don't have a reference to it anymore, and it's going to be garbage collected by Java because we can't use it anymore. So now T1 is pointing at the same object as T2 is pointing to. So when we do system out println, the system out println, you'll just look here. T1.level is not 9 anymore as it was, it's 47 because that's the value of the T2 object. So they're both 47. Now if I change the value of the level for the T1, I'm actually changing the value of the T2. So now when I do T1.level is equal to 27 and I do this third system out println, you can see that T1.level is 27 and T2.level is 27 because we're working with the same object. So it's quite simple, and I hope you understood. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!